All right, welcome everybody to the Building a Business Case webinar series. We are excited to bring you the second part today, but we have three parts in total. We are going to talk through the best way to utilize the power of technology, and I am joined today by two other PeoplePath staff here. We have Karen Brusso, Marketing Manager in Munich, and we have Tony Addino, co-CEO and founder of PeoplePath in Seattle. I am based in sunny San Diego, and we are pretty much covering most the world, so that's pretty exciting. We are coming to you from PeoplePath, so if you are not familiar with us, our mantra is that we have believe that lifelong relationships are the foundation for mutual success. And we are a small but mighty team. We have people all around the world. We cover every industry, every sector. We have 250 years of combined talent engagement experience, and we work with some of the best clients, and I might be a bit biased because I used to be one. But with that being said, we have a lot of events that are coming up. And right now, they just happen to be law focused. So we have two. We have NELP and LMA coming up in April. So if you're at home watching this, please just use the QR code to sign up if you are traveling to either Hollywood, Florida, or New Orleans for these events. We will have more for every industry coming soon. We have our New York event in October. We have our benchmarking webinar coming out when we release the port this summer. So plenty to do coming soon. If you are just tuning in for this series, we are doing a three-part series here on how do you just build a business case, telling that story and convincing others that this is the right thing at the right time to do. Our first part was how to demonstrate strategic opportunity. We have a guide here in the link, which when we send around the recording, we will include. And we also did a webinar on that as well, where Stefan and I kind of talked through all of the different ways you can talk about sharing value. And in this QR code here, you'll have the utilizing the power of technology report to download if you didn't already download that part. And we will send around this recording. And then part three is maximizing ROI, program costs, and creating an action plan to round it all out. So we're excited to share that with you soon. For today, we are going to be focusing on that technology. We want to think about highlighting the risks of all that manual work that gets done when you first start a program and how fragmented tools kind of stack up and what you can do to scale that program with some technology. We want to show why a dedicated platform is the smartest long-term investment for growth and governance overall to help you scale and get exactly what you want out of it. And we are going to show you some proven examples of organizations that have used technology and the kind of results that they got. So very excited to kind of go throughout today. In our research, we do find that a platform changes everything, and 68% of companies have a dedicated third-party platform, just like PeoplePath. They might use a CRM or LinkedIn or even create their own, but we find those are significantly less and far fewer in the marketplace. LinkedIn is an excellent tool. We do recommend everyone having a LinkedIn group and using those two things in tandem. But standing alone, only 7% of people are using it, and only 3% are creating their own. So definitely look into a platform like you are today. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Karen Brusso to talk about the user experience.
Thanks a lot, Jen, and hello, everybody. So as Jen said, I'm going to cover the alumni experience and cover three key areas how an alumni platform really elevates the alumni experience compared to just, the static Excel list or the one-way kind of transactional approach that most companies take before they decide to invest in an alumni platform. The first being the offboarding and registration area. So you might be familiar, there's a psychological principle called the peak end rule, which essentially describes how people kind of judge their experiences. And research has proven that that people kind of base their judgment around 2 points. So the peak, meaning the most intense point of an experience, it could be good or bad, and then the end. So if you think of this in terms of, the alumni experience, there's a huge critical and crucial moment at the end of their time with you, that's going to influence how they feel about you and how they're going to go in the marketplace and speak about you. So there's a huge opportunity when you're working with an alumni vendor like PeoplePath to really, elevate the offboarding experience, to get everything kind of automated and really seamless so that your alums are set up, from day one, they're getting that invitation. They're, able to sign up for the platform with ease, sync up, their passwords so it's easy, or have magic links, which I'm going to show you in a second. So it's just an opportunity to really, make them feel like they've put thought behind this process and that makes them feel valued. The second is the tailored experiences. So as you know, alumni engagement is a two-sided coin. So obviously there's the business, drivers, the boomerangs, the savings on recruitment, the brand advocacy and the business development. But there's that other side of the coin, the alumni needs, and what they want to get out of it. And often, there's different motivations and why alums want to be a part of a group, including, career development. So a lot want to come back after a certain amount of time. That connection piece, they want to socialize and network again with their colleagues and meet other people in the community. They want those perks and discounts. They're looking for the latest and greatest news about the organization and are really, connected to that mission. And you want to kind of offer this menu so that it's meeting alums where they're at in their life or their career cycle. And there's no better way than to have that in a one-stop shop, which is exactly, an alumni platform. And then thirdly is the networking connection piece. Alums have a strong drive to stay in touch with each other. We see that because 67% of companies, their alumni groups, which, are hosted on LinkedIn, are not owned by the companies themselves. They're usually started by colleagues. So there's a huge gap where, they want to stay in touch and they want to, continue learning from each other, meeting up once in a while. And the platform offers, different creative ways that they can connect with one another and keep in touch and just fortify that whole connection to one another. So now I'm going to share my screen and pop over to the demo instance and kind of play the alumni who has, the day after my departure, I will have received an invitation from, PeoplePath. It will have a link, so it'll provide me a link to this a landing page, which is designed in our corporate identity. It'll be designed in your corporate identity, of course. And that email might contain my username and password and just kind of a nice invitation describing what sort of benefits await me. I can quickly check that out on the landing page here, read through a nice heartfelt message from Tony, see that there's a couple spotlights that I can go in and check out. So that's essentially the landing page. And, there'll be some alums who have heard about the platform on LinkedIn, for example, or through different campaigns. So you want to have those alums, have a very seamless experience with signing up. So whenever, you're designing a registration form, you want to keep that simple with just a few unique identifying pieces of data that, you want to match up. We can automate this so it's super, seamless for them, and then they can get access right away as soon as that data matches up. So for now, I'm going to use my username and password, but I do have the option to sync that up with my socials to make that super easy. You don't have to remember yet to get another password. We also have enabled magic links. So again, that reduces the risk of forgetting your password and makes it a super seamless, enjoyable experience for everyone. So when I log in, I land directly on the home feed. The home feed is sort of like the heartbeat of the platform. So all the pieces of content, the different elements of the platform is kind of aggregated here and shown to me in a very personalized way. So that can be based on, where I'm located, what country, what city, what are my interests, what sort of interest groups I'm a member of, what's my expertise or my focus, industry focus. So this experience in this feed will populate different content, for example, Tony or Jen. So it's super personalized. I might not be interested in everything I see, but speaking back to that motivation factor, I might have just left and I'm really looking to reconnect with my colleagues. I miss them. So I might be more interested in an event, for example. And with the events, I can just register with the click of a button that's going to trigger a confirmation email. Later, I'll get a reminder email because we have a full event module in a platform, which is super helpful and convenient for the admins as well. I can like or comment or tag, other colleagues in the network to encourage them to also participate, which is really cool. Fast forward a year or so, I might be more focused on developing my career skills, and I might be interested in what you have in terms of webinars or thought pieces or articles that are going to help me out in my career journey. So it's kind of offering this menu that's going to speak to what I'm looking for. There's a widget here on the right-hand side, advertising the alumni stories, which is a huge driver engagement. There's a quick poll, so it shows me that you're taking my opinion into account. I can kind of voice my opinion, what I want to see, what my needs are. And another interesting piece, which might be interesting for me in 9 to 12 months, which we often see is when people are most likely to be interested in coming back as a boomerang. I have this list of jobs, and these list of jobs are populated based on our AI matching engine, which essentially infers from my skills that I've listed which jobs are the most relevant for me. So I might not have to explicitly list the skills, it intelligently matches. And these are always listed here in this widget box. So these are the three top, and that just might encourage me further to kind of look around in the job board because there's some exciting positions waiting for me. So to finish it, I'll just touch upon the different ways alums can connect with each other within the platform. So there's a directory, and I can just kind of search through these filtering options here, or I can decide to look for people who are more open to connecting on specific topics, like mentoring or different interests. So it becomes more of an intimate kind of community that's a much more closer than LinkedIn, and people are signaling, why they want to be contacted and signaling that openness, which you don't get on LinkedIn. And then I can choose to maybe chat with them with the messaging function or email them. Groups we have here, you can create as many groups as you want. And these can be based on any sort of type of topic, geographical. So it just gives alums a chance to connect with one another on specific topics. You can also give admin rights to alums. So they can, post events or post, their own articles and have those rights available. And last but not least, the alumni stories, which I mentioned on the feed. So this is always great content that drives a lot of engagement that you can use directly in newsletters to drive alums to come back in the platform to read about everyone's journey. It's always very popular. And you can make it super easy for alums to create user-generated content, which of course is so beloved because it's authentic. We've just created a simple kind of process here with a few questions or prompts. They fill it out, and then it creates a really cool story ready to go. You can always, look it over to make sure it's appropriate before it's posted. But yeah, lots of ways to connect with each other and just feel like, they're getting a lot of value all in one place. So I'm going to hand it over to Tony now to do the admin perspective.
Awesome. Thanks, Karen. Well, in this webinar, we can't even begin to scratch the surface on all the great admin capabilities in the PeoplePath platform. So my goal is to demo a few of my favorites that are common use cases in your day-to-day work stream as an admin of your company's alumni website to show you just how easy they are to use. So I will demo 3 different admin scenarios. First, Page Builder, which enables you to create and publish engaging multimedia web pages in a snap with no technical skills required. Next, we'll take a look at email templates that allow you to effortlessly design and deliver attractive on-brand emails for newsletters, announcements, and anything else you want to communicate to your alumni with reusable templates. And again, you don't need any technical skills. And lastly, we'll show you how you can track key engagement metrics and demonstrate ROI with real-time, easy to understand dashboards. So let's get started. I'm going to now share my screen, and I've got that's the view outside my window, actually. No, I'm kidding. I wish it was. It'd be awesome. Let me pull up our demo site. So I'm logged in as an admin. And here I'm acting like Charlotte. You can see her up in the left-hand corner. Some of you do know Charlotte. Charlotte is on maternity leave, as you may know, bonding with her beautiful daughter, Nora, and will be joining us sometime a little bit later this year. So I'm sure sends her best to all of you. So let's take a look. I've got a few things I want to get done today. First, I want to add a perks or discount that's come up. There's some space in Seattle we want to make complimentarily available to our alumni. So I'm going to add it to this perks and discount page. You can kind of see how it's laid out right now. I've got a 2-column followed by 3-column here with those offers. And then lastly, with a single column down here, which looks like the best place to drop something in. So let me go up here to the profile picture up in the corner, and I'm going to toggle on Page Builder. So just click that button, and up pops this panel on the far right side. You can see that enables me to add pages here of a single, multiple columns or whatever, and then widgets that I can then use for that page. So first, I've got to make sure that I'm creating space for that new perk. So I come down here to this column, and I have to make sure the box is visible. So enable the box around the column. I just toggle that on. I want to give it a name, and we're going to call this just complimentary workspace. And it looks good. Hit OK. Now I've got that available. Now, next, I'm going to go over to my widgets over here. There's a lot of them available. We keep adding to this. Some from slideshows, surveys we can add. I'm going to use a text and media widget. I just drag and drop it. Pretty simple. Looks good. I don't need a title. I've already provided that. I want to have a picture of this space to make it, it's really attractive space. So I click the picture. I can choose a file. It'll take me out to my computer, drop me right into my pictures. I click on the space, I hit open, and it drops it in there. There's the picture right there. Now, I want to customize that picture. It usually would drop it in as a thumbnail, but I want to customize it and make it about the full width of that column. So it's set at 33%. I want to make it about 97%. So let me go ahead and put that in here. My num lock, I think, is on. So let's see, 1 second. Interesting. You'll edit this out because unfortunately, I'm not sure what's wrong with my keyboard. There we go. I'll put in 97% and hit OK. And that will bring up my picture covering most of the column. Now I want to add some content to that. It's easier to use putting in this maximize format. So I'm going to I've already drafted up some content. I'm just going to take that from a Word doc and copy and paste it. Drop it over here. Just hit paste. Looks like it dropped at the top. I think I want it at the bottom. I'll just cut that and paste it down here. There we go. Looks good. I might want to highlight a couple of things there, like it's modern environment in downtown Seattle, iconic Columbia Tower. Let's make that bold. And let's say it's complimentary space available exclusively to our alumni community. I kind of like highlighting that as well. Great. Let's do that. Okay. Now let's go back to minimize this. And let's see how it looks. There we go. Complimentary space. That pops for me pretty nicely. If I'm okay with that, I can just hit save and I can move on to my next. Let's see how it looks on the actual page. Uh, that will get some attention from our alumni. That looks good. Okay, now let's go on to, I want to send a message out to all of our alumni. So I'm going to go to email templates. We create templates during the implementation process. It's easy to create them post-implementation as well, but I've got this monthly newsletter for PeoplePath I want to send out. Our Munich team let me know about some event they really want me to highlight in this recent newsletter. So I've got this. You can see it's personalized here for the recipient's first name by putting a token in there. Very easy to do. And then there's alumni spotlight in here and this exclusive event. Uh, and then there's our Path to Planet Positive about our sustainability efforts in women in leadership. So it's got a lot of nice articles. I'm going to drop one in here. So I'm first going to go into edit mode, just an easy click. And we use the same items throughout. The big pencil for edit mode, a plus sign to add something new, and so forth. So you're familiar with the icons. So I can look at this pretty quickly and see it's coming from the alumni team and I can decide, a reply to address, or if I want to, the subject line of the email and so forth. And then I go into actually editing the content itself. So you can see what I've got here. And I want to basically drop that event in there in Munich. So I'm going to click on add a widget and I'm going to go down to events and make sure that that event is there. So just click on the events here. And I look down and there's the Munich Tech Entrepreneurs event. Okay. Right there. And I hit save. Oh yeah, we've got to put in a headline, of course. Let's just put newsflash. Exclamation point. So they kind of want to make a big deal about this, so I'll support that. So now I've dropped that in. Now it drops the most recent one down at the bottom. Now I can easily move things around in this. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to move it up to the top, put it right after that opening. And oh, there it is. Perfect. Looks good. Everything else looks aligned. I'm good to go. I can hit save. Now I go over to looking at my user management because I want to get this sent out. So it's super easy to do. I come over here and I want to um, make sure that this is going out to all alumni. So I scan down these pools or groups. Pools that we use basically as a way to segment the audience. Pools are either visible or not visible. You saw when Karen did her demo, groups, those are public facing things that alumni can see. This alumni pool is one that's not visible, but it's a way to separate the alumni from employees and others that might be inside of our alumni community. So I'm going to click, I want this to go to alumni. I hit show results. It's bringing up about 151,000 total people in this alumni community, and there's, I think, roughly 150,000 of them. So it takes a couple seconds to bring that up. So yeah, 150,994 alumni. I click, I want to send to all of them. Now I can apply different batch actions. I can put them in a new pool if I wanted to, but I want to send them a message. And it's a template-based message. So it brings up all the ones. I click on the one at the top. Oh, that's not the one I want. And the People Path newsletter. Let me move this and see if it's hidden up there. There it is, the People Path Monthly Digest. It was hidden under the Zoom bar up at the top. So I'm going to click that. I can actually preview this before I send it out. So if I go down here and I look, I want to make sure that message is there. Yep, we've got the right newsletter. That looks awesome. And now all I got to do is, click that and I'll send. I don't want to actually send this out. So I want to give you a sense for how easy it is to find them. And you could easily segment this to, small groups of people, maybe just in New York City or whatever. So it's very, very easy to send announcements, newsletters, any kind of information you want to send out to your alumni. So hit send and off we go. The last thing I want to show you is reporting and analytics. So we can obviously create very dynamic reports inside of your alumni community. Those reports can also be saved as views so you can go back to them. So we've got different views here, but what I want to do is take you to a dashboard. Reports are aggregated in dashboards, which are very visual representations of those reports. So you can see here, this is for an alumni program analytics dashboard. So it shows up on top all members, how many of them are employees, how many of them are leavers, people that are in transition from being an employee to becoming an alumni, and then how many alumni. And so as I scroll down here, you can also see I've got the top jobs that have been viewed by alumni, the top offices. So it's a great way if you want to send, say, an event to just the people in Los Angeles. You could click on this 311, it'd bring up those 311 people, and you could easily send that event to just them. But I want to send a message from the CEO. We've got these leavers that are leaving. I want to thank them for their participation and contributions to PeoplePass. So I've got 1,049 of them. So I click on that. I go back again to batch actions. I click on messages and I go back to that template-based email. And in there, I think there's one about offboarding. Let me just scan this. There it is, offboarding email. So I want to preview this one again. And so again, it's got the branding, best wishes on your next chapter. It's personalized to the people that receive it and thanking them for their contributions and wishing them the best. That looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and now send that out. So now in the span of about 10 minutes, I have added a perk, sent a message to all the alumni, and now thanked our people that are in transition and moving on. A pretty good start to the morning. So I'm going to end there and pass it back to Jen. You're muted, Jen.
Sorry about that. Always one time in a meeting, you know? But it's so exciting to see all those things. We have a lot of things people can offer, and it's just so little time. So if anyone ever wants to dive deeper into these things, please do get in touch with us. But we're excited to show them. And one of the things we'd like to do is show how our clients are using these things and how they're getting success. And so in this last slide in our guide, there's a link to 3 different case studies that we have, and we're adding more all the time. But these 3 I love because it kind of really hits at some of the core results that people are looking for. In SAP's alumni program, we found that alumni are talking about your program at least 8 times a year. That's the average number. So it can be upwards of 16 times a year. You want that mention to be positive. And we're all doing it, right? I can't think of a conversation I've had in a professional scenario where I haven't spoken about my last few roles. And so you want those to be positive. In a business scenario, we were trying to maybe capture new business. That definitely goes a long way. In our Bechtel case study, they focused on alumni and they really used them as a recruitment candidate pool, and they focused on having them return to the firm and saving money and time. They had 25% of a recruiting class be alumni rehires. They found that 1 in 3 were active in the alumni program when they were rehired, showing the value of having that community. And in our Gates Foundation case study, we found that 76% of all former employees are in the alumni community. And that goes a long way when you are trying to connect a small group of people. They're a small nonprofit, and so they have a smaller group than a larger corporation, but they're very connected. And with them all out in the world trying to do really good things, that helps keep them productive and their networks growing. And so all of these are just small snippets of how you can see success with a platform. And so we're just excited to share this with you and see you achieve these results as well. So with that, I just want to say thank you for your time. If you have any questions, please do reach out to any of us. We are excited to bring you the last part of our series pretty soon about maximizing ROI and diving more into those results. And we'll see you in the next one. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for joining us.
Bye, everybody.
Yep.